Hey, this is Paul here of the Matt1008 channel, and I'm going to be talking about the Texas Chainsaw films. I will go in my history of the films. I will talk about them. The only film in the series that I've not seen is Next Generation, but that may change after seeing Texas 3D. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my history with the films, okay, from the ones that I own and that I have. Okay, the first film is a 1974 film. This is a great film. You know, I can understand with some people if they want to get into this movie that the end scene in the dinner does get a little annoying with the screaming, but you stay, if you really watch that scene, you see how realistic it could be. Then you have the scene where she escapes. That end scene, I don't care what anybody says. That scene, that end scene was amazing when I first saw this. But that's a 1974 Texas Chainsaw. This is the original restored version. This came out back in 2006. This is the Steelbook. This was a 2-disc when it came out. It has some great features on it from what I remember. My only complaint, it didn't have a booklet, but that's Texas Chainsaw from 1974. Great film. One of my top horror films of the 70s. I can't really say 80s because this is not really an 80s film. The next film that I'm going to show is, but this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. Advise anybody, if they want to get into this film, hunt this down and see it. It's 84 minutes, so you're not really wasting a lot of time if you see this, but that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The next film, to me, is the actual sequel to the 1974 film because it actually makes a little bit of sense. My only complaint about this film is the ending, but I mean, 2 minutes in a hour and 40-minute movie compared to the new film where it's 10 minutes in a 94-minute film. So that's 84 minutes that I wasted of my life that I'll never get back of that atrocity of a horror film. But I'm not getting into that. I will get into that when I come up to it. Actually, I can talk about it now because this is the Dennis Hopper version. This came out in 1986. And great film. Now I'm going to talk about the alleged. Now, this is the gripe that I have with the whatever it's supposed to be, 1990 film, whatever the fuck year it's supposed to take place in. Now, I feel that the 1974 film, the only thing that made it anywhere near a sequel to the 1974 film was the first 5 to 10 minutes. The rest of it is a sequel to the remake. The thing I'm going to talk about with Texas Chainsaw, I didn't already say in my rant, is the fact that the film didn't work. It felt more like a sequel to the 2003 remake after the prequel to Texas Chainsaw. And the fact that, yes, the Texas Chainsaw remake did have some problems, but it was a much better film than the new one. And that's it. This is my last video talking about the Texas 3D atrocity of a film. Worst film of 2013 in my opinion. That's done. Now we go on to Texas Chainsaw 3. From what I remember of it, it was an okay film. I just don't remember much about it, so I can't really talk about it that much. I just remember it was a slow burner. Not a lot of stuff happened in it, but I'm just gonna come out and say it. Better than 3D. Just my opinion. Next, we're gonna talk about Next Generation. From what I hear about it, I hear a lot of bad things. I've never seen. That's the only Texas Chainsaw film I've not seen. But that will change in the coming weeks. I may try it out. I'm not. I don't have a lot of hopes in it, but I'll try it out. Now I'm going to talk about this film, the 2003 remake. Now, I like this film. I like the soundtrack to the film, but my only gripe with the film is the fact that they didn't really like. There was things that like you felt for Jessica Biel's character when her friends were getting killed. That's what the 3D one needed. You needed characters that you care about. You know, you cared about Jessica Biel. You cared about her boyfriend. You cared about Pepper in the film. You cared about the cast. In and there's certain aspects that I was actually somewhat scared because you didn't expect it. You didn't get that with 3D. I expected it from a mile away. And the fact that the prequel, you know, it wasn't, I don't know, anything amazing, but that's Texas Chainsaw remake from 2003. Now I'm going to talk about the prequel. I don't own the prequel because when I saw it in the theaters, I saw the theatrical cut, and that's the cut that I wanted. But I was like, do I really need that right now? And I never bought it. And that was back in 05, 06. Just one more thing I wanted to talk about. I like the idea of Texas Chainsaw. I like Leatherface. In the original, he was also convincing in the 2003 remake, but he just wasn't convincing in the 3D one. Seriously, if you watch the film and you're a fan of either Mushroom Head or Slipknot, that's what he reminded me of. I know that maybe some people will not catch that, but I caught it through the whole movie. But that's just my history and a little bit of a rant, which will be my last rant on this film. And this is Paul, Mount 708, signing out. See ya.